13%.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my kitchen. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to those of you who are looking on Instagram, and also to those on Facebook. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let us know where you're watching from so that we can give you a shout out. As usual, thank you so much for stopping in. And for those of you who will be staying in, thank you so much for staying in. So today's dinner's inspiration is from the Mexican tamale. Alright, so I'll walk you through what a tamale is. Basically, a tamale is made from masa. Masa is made from corn that is dried and treated with lye and then ground into a mass, like a wet mass. And then that's what's used to make the tamales.
Cheryl Jenkins, hi.
Hi, Cheryl. A tamale can be it can be stuffed. It's mostly stuffed, meaning that you cook it with the meat in it. But tonight I'm going to be serving the meat on top. And of course, the Jamaican part of tonight's dinner is I'm going to be replacing corn that is usually used, the corn masa, with breadfruit. So, to breadfruit with love, I like to say it's breadfruit season. And once it's breadfruit season, I get very, very creative with the breadfruit.
Brina is watching from Antigua.
Welcome, welcome, Antigua. So, breadfruit is what I'm going to use to show you how to make tamales. Tamales are usually wrapped in corn husks, the husks of a corn. And Sheila, could you just reach that corn husk for me? However, in other parts of the country, the world is also wrapped in banana leaf. And tonight, I'm going to be using banana leaf to show you how to wrap it. We have something similar in Jamaica. We call it dukuno, that we wrap in banana leaf. So if you know what a dukuno is, the process is very, very similar in terms of the cooking method and the makeup method. But as usual, I'm going to show you how to simplify it.
Lisa says, good evening, chef and family.
Good evening. So I just want to show you the husks of a corn. So this is what the corn husks look like. This in Jamaica, we would buy our boiled corn or roast corn from the street side vendor in the husks as a holder. This is what the Mexican people use to cook the tamale in. I'm going to be using banana leaf tonight to cook our tamale, and we're doing breadfruit tamale and plantain tamale. So let's go.
Impressive 85, hi chef and family, checking in from DMV.
Hello.
Not staying long today, just checking in because I missed a few live. My
Thank
son
you for
runs track
checking
and
in.
field, and that has me busy on Sunday. Miss watching you cook.
Oh, thank you for stopping in. So this is one piece of pumpkin, and that's just for color. And I'm using roughly half of a small breadfruit. So in my food processor goes the breadfruit. So all I did is to peel the breadfruit and cut it into small pieces. Then I'm going to process it. Now if you don't have a food processor, you can grate this. So guys, we want to process it down to the consistency that you get if you should actually grate it, all right? So we're almost there.
First lady Jules checking in.
Hello, Jules. All right, guys, so this is what it looks like now. I hope you can see it's coarse, so we're gonna get it processed down a little further. The pumpkin that I added is totally optional. You know when you just have that one little piece of pumpkin floating around in your fridge and you need to do something with it before it goes bad? That's how it gets in here. So what we're doing, we are processing it down into a paste that is sticky enough to spread. So I paused to show you. This is annatto. Annatto grows in lots of the parishes in Jamaica. It grows on a tree and then it opens up in some pods and you see the annatto seeds. Other culture calls it a different name. This is for color. Jamaica used to export tons of annatto in the 17 and 1800, especially to Europe, and these were used in coloring other stuff from butter to soap to margarine and a lot of other cosmetic stuff. However, annatto is a spice. It's very neutral. It's not a hot spice. My grandmother would have used it for color. Tonight I'm using it for color, and I'm also going to be using it for the flavor that it brings. In this pot I have some oil. Annatto is fat soluble, so what that means is that for you to get the best use of it, you have to put it directly in some fat. So I'm using about half teaspoon of the annatto, and so we refer to it as annatto seed. And just for a little close-up, this is what it looks like for those looking in on Facebook. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead, put it in the pot, and then I'll give you a close-up on the seed itself. So this is what the annatto seeds look like. You can buy these in the supermarket, and these days you can buy them ground as well. So this is what it is. So I already have some measured in my container. So I'm going to be spicing up my tamale, and the spices I'm using are annatto, zazan, which is a South American kind of spice, garlic powder, and some other stuff that I really don't remember what they are. But basically, whatever spice you have in your kitchen, you can add to it. I'm going to put this onto the stove and just let everything warm up, and then we're going to add it to our breadfruit. So our spice is over there going, so we're going to continue putting this. And I'm going to be adding some coconut milk. So I'm going to start by adding half cup of coconut milk just to get it into that consistency.
Daniel Brown waving.
Hey Danielle, that I talked about earlier. You can also blend this, guys. You could blend it with about 2 cups of water so that it is smooth, and then you strain it through a cloth, like a cheesecloth, and just squeeze the water back out. But I don't have any cheesecloth, so I'm processing it. So let's just check.
Patricia Brown, good evening family.
Hey sis, we want to check the consistency. We want a consistency, let me show you, that is
Karen Hardy, hi.
A consistency that is somewhat spreadable. Alright, so look at that. It should be a little bit sticky so that when you try to mold it, it will stay in place. So we're almost there. See that? That's the consistency we want it to have. So a couple more pulls and I should be fine. So for those of you who keep flooding my inbox with rice alternatives, for you gluten-free persons who is always trying to come at me, this is 100% gluten-free. Very, very gluten-free. There is no gluten in it. This is breadfruit. I don't know that breadfruit to have any gluten in it. So this is fresh, simple, easy to make. Okay, so you can blend it and then squeeze it, or you can grate it, or you can put it in your food processor like I did. So right now, all we're doing, we're waiting on the spices to get ready. And let me just take some of these things out of the way.
Mario Mills, hi chef.
Hey Mario. So while we wait on the spices to get ready, I'm gonna cut some fresh herbs. I'm using scallions. I'm just gonna cut some scallions up and just add to it.
Jerome Darnells, hello teacher, love the vibes.
Hey Jerome, thanks for stopping in. So I'm using just like one piece of scallion because I am going to be serving this with some sauteed beef over the top. So that's where the bulk of the flavor is. I do not like my food to be muddled. I don't like a very strong flavor in the accompaniment and the same strong flavor into the meat. So I like to leave the flavor into the meat. So that's what we're doing. So we're just seasoning up our tamale dough very, very simply with some sazan, some garlic powder, some all-purpose seasoning, and some scallion, along with the annatto. The annatto is also going to give it a tint of orange to yellow color, and we're adding in some fat because breadfruit is starchy, so we need a little bit of fat in there just to make everything come together.
Ricky Brown is asking what's for dinner.
Tamale is for dinner.
Trudy and Riley, hey Diva chef and team.
Hey Trudy. Alright, so we're good. I'm going to be adding my spice mixture in here. Let me start by adding half of it. Now some people strain the annatto out. I don't. I just use it as it is. Because sometimes when you try to dissolve the annatto in the oil, some of it does not totally dissolve. Okay, so we're gonna stop, give it one last strain. And I'm going to give it a taste just to make sure that it has enough flavor in it. Just a little bit of taste. I think it could take all of it. So here goes the garlic powder, the all-purpose. Oh, and I added a tablespoon of margarine as well, guys.
Joyanne says, I admire your creativity and how you always put a Jamaican twist to your food.
Thank you so much.
Lisa says, waiting patiently on the gizada because I'm definitely going to make some this week.
Alright, Lisa, we'll get to the gizada shortly. So, final pulse. We're at the consistency, we're at the flavor that we're looking for. So, here goes. Alright, so I'm gonna put it back into my container. Use my, so you see now guys, it looks like a paste. And let me tell you guys, if you're into eating raw food, if you are a raw foodist or you want to reset, when you do the breadfruit like this and you season it, it is so good. It almost have a vibe going on. You know, you could just season it and let your imagination guide you. I tasted it a while ago and it's just so awesome. And this is breadfruit that is not ripe. This is just regular, what we would call in Jamaica, fit breadfruit. Alright, so that's our breadfruit tamale mass. So a mass, it's wet, but not too wet. It is spreadable. This is what we're going to use to make our tamale. But before we go to that, I'm going to put that off to the side. And remember, I also promised that we're going to be making a plantain tamale as well.
Mark Moss Anthony. Hello, my darling friend. Blessings overflow.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
SHTM Scorpion says, great work, chef. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys.
MS,
Mark Moss Anthony. Hail, Mr. G.
MS Lolita says, I love hummus. How's that?
Hummus.
Hummus.
Yes.
I would love to see your twist on hummus.
Okay. One of these days I'll go to the Middle East and I'll make you some hummus, my dear. So we're using 2 ripe plantains, and the plantain is much softer. Oh, and by the way, you can also make this with green plantain. This is the beauty of a tamale. Any tuber, any starch you can use to make this. Cassava makes a mean tamale. Some people call cassava yuca. Green bananas can make a tamale. So the closest thing we have to a tamale in Jamaica would have been our dukuno, okay, and it is more sweet. I'm gonna add to this one. So plantain is sweet. I just want the natural sweetness in this one. I'm not adding any other flavor other than a little bit of fat from the olive oil. That's it. Stay over there. You can also use cornmeal to make your tamale. They have something similar to a tamale in Trinidad. They refer to it as a pastel. Usually, according to my Trinidad batchmate, they said that they make the tamale usually in Christmas time, and it is made with something that is similar to cornmeal, and it's usually stuffed with ground meat that is cooked up with olives and some good stuff. So this is our plantain for our plantain tamale. It's much more delicate. Alright, so we're gonna get our production line going. I have my water going. We're gonna be boiling these tamales wrapped in...
Chef Walker, hi sis and family.
Hello sis.
The fox says, blessing.
Blessing to you too, my dear. So clean up time, clean up time, clean up. Alright, so we have plantain, breadfruit. We have some stuff to prep later on to make our beef filling. So let's clean this out. So time to assemble. Alright, so let's see. I'd asked Ashley to wilt these. Sorry Ashley, but they don't wilt too well. So I have to go back to the stove and wilt them, guys. So this is plantain leaf, and we refer to it in Jamaica as quailing the plantain leaf. What that does is that it makes it flexible so that when you try to roll the product in it, it will not tear. So these were not wilted properly, so I have to go back and do them over. So turn the camera this way. So you just put them over the fire, guys, until it becomes very, very flexible. Making a masa is making a tamale is a labor of love, right? Like everything else, you know, cooking is definitely an act of love. So you want to make sure that it's flexible. If it's not wilted right, you won't be able to manipulate the plantain leaf or the banana leaf. Do you know that in Trinidad they refer to banana as fig? You know, they don't say banana, they say fig. Isn't that something? Alright, so we are, I'm going to do basically 3 and 3. So I need 6 leaves to get this done. So guys, in the meantime, tell me where you're watching from. And also remember to share the live. So once you put it over the fire, you can see the changes happening right in front of your eyes real quick. The banana leaf or the plantain leaf becomes way more flexible. Oh, and you can also do this in boiling water. You could bring a pot of water to a boil and put them in the boiling water and you will get the exact same effect.
Trini says, good evening all.
Good evening.
Hooked on Reed is watching from Spanish Town.
Hooked on who?
On Reed.
Welcome, Spanish Town.
Campbell is what says, good evening all.
Good evening.
Chelsea is watching from Manchester.
Hey, Chelsea. I think Chelsea is almost always watching. Thank you so much.
Shizana Campbell says, good evening, Miss Barrett.
Good evening.
Trini says, what's the menu tonight, chef? It's usually pinned, but I'm not seeing it tonight. It is pinned.
So tonight we are inspired by the Mexican tamale, and we're using breadfruit to make it along with ripe plantain, and we're going to serve that up with basically some sauteed beef with some of the same Mexican flavors to go on top. And then we're going to be making our beautiful open tart. It's called a gizada.
Davina says, good evening. McPherson's Catering says, good evening, chef and family.
Good evening.
Bobette says, good evening.
Hey, Bobette.
The Fox says, that's the way I know using the boiling water.
Yes, that's, it can be steamed, but I boil it.
McPherson's Catering says she's in her bed sick.
Oh, I hope you feel better.
Trini says, no chef, interesting and sound yummy.
Thank you. So guys, Sheila, where's the scissors?
It was on top of it.
Was here? Oh, it's here. Okay, so let us make up a little production line. So this is what we do. So you can use aluminum foil or brown paper or parchment paper along with the banana leaf or corn husks. So I'm using foil.
Shazana Campbell says, I would love to see your Streetfoodsaturdays menu for July. That day is my birthday.
You have to wait a little bit longer. That menu won't be ready until about the 2nd of July or so.
Beth Chelsea says, you're welcome here with the entire family every Sunday.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. So I want to make 6. So I need 1 more. Okay, so we have all our papers. Here you go.
McPherson's Catering says, but I have to watch you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so
Gabina says, missed you for some weeks now. I have been so busy.
Uh-oh. Well, welcome back. All right, guys, so let us show you how this is done. So I have my banana leaf here. Don't worry, they don't need to be perfect, okay? Cooking is not about perfection. However, technique should not get lost. So, the breeze is blowing away my stuff here. So let's just kind of hold it. So we're gonna start with our breadfruit, and I'm gonna use half a cup for each. So let's see what the half cup look like. It's very important that you measure when you're cooking so that in the cooking time, everything will cook at the same time. So this is what we do. We put half cup on, and then you take the spatula, or I really like to use the back of a spoon, and you spread it into something that looks like
Tamika McCarthy.
a rectangle. Alright, so I think this one can take a little bit more. So I'm going to do half cup plus 1 heaping teaspoon. Hello Tamika, welcome. Alright, so we want our tamales to be thick. So you want to spread it, and if you were going to fill it, you would have put the filling across here in a log, and then we would have closed it. Alright, but we're not doing that. So now that it is spread, all we're doing, we're folding it over one side like so, and then come in like this. Alright, so this is our first tamale. Usually now at this stage you would have tied it, but I'm not tying it tonight because I want to show you how easy it can be done. So I'm rolling it in foil. You don't want to crimp the foil, you want to just roll it and wrap it like a little gift. Okay, so after you roll it in the foil, you want to fold it upwards like so, because you don't want the water to get in it, and you want to fold it. You'll feel where the dough is. And this is our first tamale. This is our first tamale. So that goes right there. And we're gonna make some more. Our banana leaves, they're a little bit uneven, but that's fine. So this one, I'm gonna cut it in two. This is gonna give me 2 tamales. So again, all right, we do half cup, just like this, and we get that out on the banana leaf. So now guys, remember that the purpose of quailing the banana leaf is to make it flexible, and then we go in with a heap spoonful and we spread it. Just kind of give it like a 1/2 inch thick spread, like that.
Lisa says this is very interesting. Every week there's something new to learn. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
McPherson's Catering asks, what's the mashed breadfruit?
This is just breadfruit that is seasoned, and this is what our tamale is going to be made of. So now we're going to roll. Okay, you want to roll it so that all of them is almost the same, and so this one is coming out. Okay, and you want to roll it and finish on the seam end down, and then we roll it in the foil. So you roll and gently squeeze and tuck and roll, and we end on the seam end, and then we turn it over, seam end looking up on us, and we give it a big fold to the center and to the center. All right, here we go. So 2 down. How many more to go? A few more. All right, so this is the last of the breadfruit. So we're doing 3 breadfruit and 3 plantains.
Althea Reed.
See, Jacoby's not here, so none for Jacoby tonight.
Althea Reed, good evening, Diva Chef and family.
Hey, Althea.
What's on the menu for this evening?
Out here we're making breadfruit tamale. Our dinner tonight is inspired by the Mexican tamale. So we're doing a breadfruit and ripe plantain tamale. And for our protein, we're doing beef and peppers. And the beef is seasoned using the spices that reminds me of the Mexican cooking flavor profile. So that's what's for dinner, my dear. And we fold it over, and we wrap, and we roll, and we wrap, and we roll, and we finish on the seam end. And if it is trying to come out, you stick it back in. And this is our lovely breadfruit. So the idea is to show you the versatility of the breadfruit. So we roll and squeeze. You want to squeeze it because when it's in the cooking process, you do not want the water to go and touch directly on the tamale. Alright, so we have 3 down, and now it's time for the plantain. So let's just wash this out to do the plantain. Alright, so we give that a good rinse, and we're gonna come in and we're measuring 1/2 cup for plantain. Pour it out and we spread it. We want to spread it because we're rolling it. So we spread it so that it rolls nicely into a little rectangle. When it is cooked, you want it to look nice and cute. Alright, so this is plantain. So the same treatment, 1/2 cup plus 1 spoon. And we're spreading as even as we can.
What's the recipe for the breadfruit?
Okay, I'm doing the recipe right now as I speak.
Hooks on Reed says, totally love your jumpsuit.
Thank you.
Lady Kimon says, good evening, beautiful Chef Barrett.
Hey, Lady Kimon. Alright, so we fold this one over, and then the plantain is a little more soft. So after you fold it over, you squeeze it back in because we're working with a rectangle as our guide. Althea, so this is breadfruit, regular breadfruit. We chopped it in the food processor, and then we season it with some annatto, some garlic powder, and some all-purpose seasoning, and a piece of scallion, and some oil and margarine. So that's all this is. So that's basically what the recipe is as it relates to the ingredients. And now we're wrapping it in banana leaf. The banana leaf was coiled over the fire to make it pliable. Okay? And then the cooking method is going to be boiling. We're going to be putting it in a pot of simmering water, and we're going to cook these for 20 minutes, and then they'll be ready.
McPherson Catering says delicious.
Thank
Katie
you.
says good evening, fam.
Hey, Katie. Uh-oh. I don't think I have enough for 3. So let's make this one a little smaller. So today's dinner is all about tamale, all about how you can make.
Althea Reed, thank you for info.
Thank you to Althea for stopping in. And we scoop this back to us because we don't want it to seep out too much. And then we roll. Come on, plantain. And the plantain one is so, you know, you plantain lovers out there, you know how sweet a plantain is. The plantain one is delicate, but it is delicious. So again, we're gonna roll it up into our foil. And the foil is just for protection, guys. If you don't want to use foil, brown paper, parchment paper will do just fine. Okay,
Books and Read asks, are these similar to dukuno?
yes. So earlier I said in Jamaica we would have called these dukuno. They're savory, meaning they don't have any additional sugar. But in the Spanish-speaking world, these are referred to as tamales.
Johnson says you're doing great, Simone.
Thank you. Alright, so this is the last of our plantain. I think we can squeeze one more breadfruit in there because we have the banana leaf. Alright, so we spread. Then we give it a turn and we fold. Come on. And then we bring it back. And this is only for the plantain because it is so, weird, delicate. And we roll and squeeze, and we always end on the seam end, pull it towards you, and then we enclose all of this in foil. And this is why it is important to make sure that the banana leaf is coiled properly for that flexibility. Alright? So what we do now, we crimp the ends of the foil because we don't want too much water or any water to go inside. I'm going to make 2 breadfruit, and then that's going to be the end of our tamale.
Reed says knowledge gain. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alright, so this one gets out of the way. Where's the foil?
Over here.
Alright, so let's squeeze 2 more. Make these a little bit smaller. Alright, here you go. Easy does it. Banana leaf goes on. I'm just going to divide this one in 2. I don't want to have any leftovers. And this is the breadfruit, guys. This is the breadfruit. All I'm saying, give the breadfruit a chance. The breadfruit is in abundance in Jamaica right now. And just because the breadfruit is in abundance, we want to enjoy the bounty of the breadfruit season. And so tonight I am showing you, or I'm sharing with you, how to make tamale. Tamale is a Mexican thing, and I'm simplifying it so that you guys can recreate this. Now my water has been on low, so as soon as I'm done with the last one, into the hot water they go, and you're going to stay there for 20 minutes, and we're going to take it out and we're going to test it, and then we are going to enjoy it. I do hope, guys, you make this recipe. I have a pastel recipe on my channel. For those of you who are new, our YouTube channel is called Nextinfood. So we do have a sausage and baked bean pastel that was inspired by the Trinidadian way of making pastel. We made the masa with cornmeal. It was so good, and then we fill it with I think sausage and baked bean.
After week, oh my, I got some massive one last week.
Some massive breadfruit right out there.
Patricia Brown, I need some of that abundant breadfruit, sis.
First Lady Joe says dying to try the pudding month in.
Oh, thank you for that, Julia. So guys, continue on with my creative use of breadfruit while it is in season. On the Street Food Saturdays menu, we have a breadfruit pudding. we're going to be doing a breadfruit pudding for Father's Day and also for our regular month-end picnic.
Pre-Father's Day.
For pre-Father's Day. So our Father's Day is actually going to be the day before. That is already sold out. So thank you guys for purchasing your seats early. And our annual month-end river picnic is also sold out. And so for those of you who got in, thank you so much for your reservation. And we're going to be doing our breadfruit pudding, and that's going to get served up with a caramel sauce made from coconut milk. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to share that with you. So what I'm doing, guys, my mind is saying to me, you know what, you really need to crimp these a little bit tighter so that the water does not get into them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just folding them a little bit neater, just kind of roll and squeeze. See, it look like a little package of love. So yes, Jules, I am excited to share the breadfruit pudding with you guys.
Althea Reed, yes, breadfruit. I'm selling East Indian mangoes and breadfruit now.
You're selling breadfruit now, Althea? How much for our breadfruit? So we're gonna put our tamales in. Our water is boiling, and so we're just gonna put them in and let them do them thing. Okay. And I'm gonna set my timer to 20 minutes. So Ashelia, set the timer, please. 20 minutes. Go ahead and put the stove up here, plug it in, put the pot on it. So now I'm gonna go a little bit faster, and we are going to be making gizada. So for our gizada, we're gonna need our pan. Our oven is ready on this side. We're gonna need a rolling pin. And what else are we going to need? The dough. We're gonna need the dough. So Ashelia reached the dough, and we're gonna need some foil for easy cleanup.
Althea Reed, various prices. All my breadfruit are from St. Thomas and Portland.
It look like St. Thomas breadfruit is the breadfruit out there. Can I get the foil? Anyways, I went to, look here guys, Carnation Market is my place. So yesterday, I went to the market and I bought some breadfruit, and they were $100, and they were so big and beautiful.
Nicolette Samuels, good evening.
Lisa says you're missing the coconut filling.
Oh, I made a coconut filling already. So I didn't bother to do this because I want you guys to go over and see how it is made on my YouTube channel. So this, or on IGTV. So I'll talk about the coconut filling when I get to it. So for now, let's talk about the dough for the gizada. So blessing Althea, I hope your breadfruit sell off, and the East Indian mango. My dough is now too hard. So let's talk gizada. So you know our cuisine is influenced by many cultural influences. This particular one, I feel like it is influenced by the British, because you know they once ruled Jamaica. So this in other country would have been a tart. In Jamaica we say gizada. I don't know how it get to gizada. Gizada sounds like a non-English word. However, it is delicious. So let me share with you how I make gizada. So this, what you're looking at, is called a short crust pastry. What that is, it means that you take half fat to flour. What that means is that if you have 8 ounces of flour like this, you use 4 ounces of cold butter or margarine, salt to taste, and then water to make it into a dough. So a gizzarda dough should never ever be tough. I mean, I want to fight those street vendors who sell the tough gizada, because I mean, I know say it's going to be tough, but I still buy it. Alright, it should not be tough. It should be a pastry. It should be soft. So if you guys are looking on and you want to know how to make the gizarda pastry, you can go on our YouTube channel, Nextinfood. We have a tutorial on how to make gizarda. You'll see how to make the short crust pastry, and you'll also see how to make the gizarda filling. A pastry should always be chilled. This one has been chilling, so it gets a little bit firm. So I'm just applying some pressure onto it.
Kedira asking, can I come by for my gizada tomorrow? Depends.
Yes, Katie, you can get your gizarda from Auntie. Alright, so I'm going to roll it out. And as you roll, you want to turn the dough. You want to make sure you have some flour under the dough, because it will stick if you don't flour the rolling pin and the dough. Short crust pastry is also used to make pie dough and the dough for plantain tart, and among other stuff.
Out there, read in Westmoreland, they call it gizada puff.
Oh really? So it puffs up, or it just called gizarda puff?
Gavina says, if I was your neighbor, you would get a lot of breadfruit and East Indian mangoes.
Oh, thank you. I have a breadfruit tree, by the way. I have one of them town breadfruit tree. It's amazing. But they're small and sweet, and when they fall off the tree, sometimes they fall off the tree. And my dog eat them because they're so good. Alright, so at this point, what I'm going to do is, see the dough is cracking up just because it's a little bit too...
Out there, read, no, it's called puff.
It's just called puff out there? Oh. Okay, I learned that something tonight. It's just called puff. So they just call the gizada puff. I'll tell you how they get to puff with the gizada. How did they get to call it puff, I wonder? See? So, I'm going to fold the ends into the middle and then close it like a book. And this is just because, as I said, I'm kind of forcing it along now because it was in the fridge and it got really chilled. And when it is very, very, very cold and you're trying to roll it, sometimes it tries to break up, like what's happening. But the good thing about a short crust pastry,
Out there, read, I went, asked for gizada, and they asked me what name, so.
oh Lord! Never heard that before out there. Thanks for that info. So guys, I'm gonna cut this in two. I'm gonna put back half into my refrigerator, and I'm gonna work on half. When you're working with pastry, you want to keep it as cold as possible for best results. Here you go, my dear. So,
Out there, read, not sure if you know someone from West. Ask for me, please. Trying myself.
I don't, but next time I go there, I'll find out. Alright, so I'm rolling. We want to roll this into about a 1/8 of an inch thickness. Okay. And this is the thing about pastry, it's flour all over the place. But the end result is nice. So, gizada tutorial is on our YouTube channel. Okay, plantain tart tutorial is also on the YouTube channel, and we have a tamale tutorial that we made with, I think it was cornmeal and ripe plantain, but it's ham and cheese. What do we call it, Tashilia? Pastel?
The plantain.
The tamale. So I think we're at the thickness that I like. So it's time to cut. This part is a little bit too thick. So again, remember when you're cooking, you should always cook with your 5 senses. So I'm using my sense of touch to feel the thickness of the dough, to see the thickness, because I said I wanted a 1/8 of an inch thickness. You can actually use a ruler to measure it, but with experience, you can just look and see. Okay, so this is my cutter. I'm gonna cut these about, this is about 4.5 inches round. So cut, okay, flour and cut.
Plantain tamale with beans and chorizo. Trinidad pastel with a twist.
Okay. And we're gonna get roughly about 5 from this. So we want to set up a little production line. Making and selling gizada, guys, is a great extra source of income. So you can try the recipe and see how it works for you.
Trini, we make pastels here with cornmeal, brand promosa, and seasoned meat.
Thank you, Trini. So tonight we are making ours with breadfruit. Alright, so what I just did is to patch the dough so I could get another one from it. Water always seals pastry together. So I just added a little bit of water and then put it together. And now we have 5. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so these are gonna go off to the side. And well, they're gonna come closer to me. And this is what I do. I take a little bit of water and I go around each circle. The purpose for the water is to hold the pinch. And the pinch is a signature look of the gizada. All right. The filling for the gizada is made with freshly grated coconut and ginger and cinnamon, vanilla and nutmeg. And so to pinch the gizada, I use my thumb and my index finger on my right hand because I'm right-handed. And then I use my index finger on my left hand as a guide. And I pinch and squeeze and pinch and squeeze. All right, and so this is my first gizada. People, you guys are still there or you're paused too?
No.
They're there?
Yep, gone. Trying to reconnect.
Okay. All right.
Davina said,
Back on.
I'm definitely going to try yours. Trini says it look absolutely delicious. I must try. Trini said we're back on Instagram.
All right, guys, welcome back. For those who came back, welcome back, guys.
First Lady Jules is asking what's happening.
In terms of what, the internet or what we're cooking?
Lisa says was paused, but I'm here.
The internet from morning, the bigger, better network has been hacked up. So the internet is, the Wi-Fi is a little weak tonight. So we pinch and squeeze and pinch and squeeze and pinch. And no, the gizada dough is not made with baking powder. It is made, it's a pastry. It is a short crust pastry. So don't come to me wrong and strong and come and comment under my tutorial. If I were you, I would learn something. A pastry, we have different types of pastry. We have short crust pastry, puff pastry, choux pastry, rough puff pastry, and gizada should be made with short crust pastry that does not have any baking powder in it.
Taylor is asking, are you in rural St. Andrew?
Yes, I am.
Just Me says, I just got a notification, sad face.
Uh-oh.
Lisa says, so the pan doesn't have to be greased, right, Chef?
No, it doesn't, because the dough is filled with all that good fat. So I'm gonna turn my oven on, and we're gonna turn it. We're baking these at 375, and so I'm gonna fill these. So I'm filling them with 1 spoon of filling. Do not make your filling dry, guys. You want to make it with some moisture in it. Do not squeeze the coconut before you make the filling, because that is the primary flavor. All right, so the gizada filling is made with freshly grated coconut, lots of ginger, a little nutmeg, a little cinnamon, some vanilla. Okay, and of course, some sugar for sweet. That is the gizada. And gizada is a Jamaican thing. It is unique to us in terms of the name and the shape. All right, even though it was influenced by others.
First Lady Jude says, remind me of school days.
Yes. So, all right. So now, guys, I'm just gonna rest this in the fridge, and I'm gonna reach for the other dough, and I'm gonna just finish making them. So Ashelia, just rest this in the fridge. Give me the other dough. Let's just roll it out really quick. Go in, turn on this stove for me. Take the cover off, because dinner is about to be ready, guys. Take the cover off. So power on, fridge please. So we're putting our pot to warm up slowly for our beef. We're using a very tender cut of beef, so it's gonna go real quick. All right, foil this pan for the gizada for me, please.
Gafina is asking if the filling tutorial is on YouTube.
Yes, the filling tutorial for the gizada is on YouTube at Nextinfood. Go over there, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscription button, hit that notification button.
Just me says I have to get the recipe.
The recipe is there. Don't just take the recipe now, guys. Watch the video, share, and subscribe, please. All right, I think we're ready to cut. So here goes. 1, 2. Do not fold it over, it won't be able to slide in. And we're gonna get 5, just like we did the last one. I hope I still have filling for 5. So that is 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and we're gonna do the little patch. Let's try and patch it.
Gavina says, oh yes, I do always.
Thank you.
Lisa says, and send Chef a photo when you make it.
Yes.
Chef Tingley says, how are you these days?
I'm good.
Talia says, pastry takes a lot of rolling. I'm also a chef in training.
Yes, it does, but don't think about the rolling. Cooking is all about procedure, and once there is a procedure, it's going to take some time. So don't think about the procedure as work. Just think about it as the journey to get to the finished result.
Gavina says, Tuesday is my birthday.
Tutor or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Alright, so we have 5 gizada to make. We have a little bit of dough leave over. I don't like to throw away stuff, so we will put this away in the fridge for a rainy day. Alright, so let's go. Water around the diameter, and the purpose of the water is to seal the pastry, to hold the pinch together. Alright, and I mean, you have people that pinch better than people. My sister-in-law, she's a great gizada pincher. Big up yourself, Colette. Alright, so that's 1, and this is 2. And our oven is getting ready. You want to put your pastry in a hot oven. If you put a pastry in an oven that is not hot enough, what's going to happen is that the butter or the margarine is going to melt and run on the tray, and you're not going to get a nice crumbly, mealy bite from the pastry. So procedures are important. Hot oven, cold pastry, they work well together. Thank you, Ashley. All right, so 1 and the 2.
20 minutes.
So 20 minutes has passed. I think our pastels are ready. We're just going to give them our tamale. I said pastel. Tamales are ready. Alright, let me just fill these and then go to the tamale. Now, some persons opt to bake the pastry blind first before they fill it. So, to bake a pastry blind, really, it means to bake it without its filling. I don't do the gizada that way. I just put the filling in and then bake it. So when you're doing it this way, you have to make sure that the filling is nice and moist for best results. Alright, so here goes our last gizada. And these are going to go into the oven. So I'm going to put this one in first. Oh, give me the one in the fridge. We're going to put the one in the fridge first. And then so we're baking them one at a time. Let me just wash my hands. And we're going to clean up. If I can only find my bench scraper. Can't find my bench scraper, guys, so I'm just going to use a dull knife to clean up, scrape the flour off my rolling pin. Oh, let me check on the tamales because the time has passed. Can you turn it off?
The stove?
Huh?
The stove?
Yeah.
No,
So we're taking one of the tamale out, guys, and we're going to do the test to make sure that it is cooked. So even though you put a time on it, you need to test for doneness. And that's what I'm doing. So we take one out. I'm going to let it cool down and then give it a test. In the meantime, clean up my rolling pin. Get it out the way. Here it goes. And we clean the flour off. Get everything clean. Okay. we're back in business with a clean countertop. Now it's time to finish our dinner. Can I have that platter up there, please?
This one?
Yes. All right, my people. So our pot is on, nice and getting nice and hot. Just gonna wipe it off. I'm going to prep some vegetables for beef. All right, so over this side I have some bell peppers, and I'm just going to cut them in bite-sized pieces, kind of like when you're doing a stir fry. Right, I think that's how I'm going to cut them, but I need a container. So these are what we're going to put onto our beef. So these are the peppers, and we're doing beef and peppers. And I'm using red bell peppers. I'm using corn. Corn is abundant in the market. So I'm adding some corn. I'm adding in some cilantro, some red onions, some tomatoes. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Nice fresh veggies gonna go in. So when I thought about how I'm gonna cook this beef, I thought about a salsa, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna put all the ingredients that I would put in a salsa in this beef to make it totally delicious. Wayne, could you look in the fridge around the back? You see a gallon jug on the shelf with some sauce. Just pour some of the sauce out for me, please. And of course, I can't leave out my tomatoes. So tonight, I'm going to cut them in halves. Usually I cook them whole, but I'm cutting them in half tonight. And I'll show you guys what the pastel look like in a few. Just give me a minute to prep these things. Let me turn this thing back up. So we're gonna saute this at about 450 because we want it to go really fast. So our pot is getting nice and hot while I cut. We have our platter to put our finished product on. And we're good. And I have some cilantro, and I'm gonna finish this with. So let's talk about the beef. This is a nice tender cut of beef, and this is seasoned with cumin and cinnamon and all-purpose seasoning and some Mexican oregano, because as I said, I'm keeping that flavor going. The tomatoes, whenever I think about Mexican cooking, I think about freshness. Salsa. Salsa can be cooked or it can be served up raw. Tonight we're cooking the salsa ingredients in the beef, and I'm adding some corn. I am going to cut the corn off the cob, and it's gonna fly all over the place, but I'll take it up. Corn is sweet, and there's a lot of corn in the market. So you need a sharp knife, and you just cut it off. And I'm going to throw these corn in the pot first and let them roast. All right? So in goes corn. And all the ones that scatter, I'm going to take them up and throw them in there as well. So we're just gonna roast up our corn.
This one?
Yes. We're gonna roast the corn, and you're gonna start seeing them trying to pop. Let me just center so you can see. You're good now, Ash? All right, so corn is in, and let's see what the tamale looks like. Grab the platter. So we're doing our first test on the tamale. So we unwrap. And so you go in reverse. All right, so you unwrap. Oh my word, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this tamale. It looks cooked to me, but to be sure, let us give it a taste. This is the breadfruit. This is so good. This is cooked, so I'm going to turn it off. So guys, if you want to know what it tastes like boiled breadfruit with seasoning. It's so good. Alright, so this is our first tamale. I'm going to put it back off to the side. So I'm going to take out a couple. I hope I can find the planted ones. I am just guessing right now. I should have marked them. So we have 2 plantains and 2 breadfruit tamale. Time to cook our beef. So we have some corn in here toasting away. And I wish you could smell this. The corn smells sweet. So this dinner is light and fresh. Alright, let's give it a taste. You know what it tastes like? Roast corn. That's exactly what it is. So we have a few of the string of the corn, the air from the corn in there, but that's fine. Alright, so these are done, so we're gonna pour them off. Alright, put this back on and add some oil. It's a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. Okay. And then this is the powdered annatto. Just gonna add some in there, just to give our beef a little color. And in goes our beef. So again, this was seasoned with oregano, a little bit of cumin, some all-purpose seasoning, a little cinnamon, and we're gonna let it hang out in here and cook. This is lean, so it needs a little fat. I'm gonna add a little bit more, just a little bit more of the olive oil. And now we have our garnish. These are our onions and peppers. Oh, I have some Scotch bonnet pepper. We're gonna chop up some scotchy to add to the party. There goes our Scotch bonnet. And I remove my tamale from the hot liquid so that it is easy. Alright, so this is our pepper right here. Some nice Scotch bonnet. And this is my cilantro, what is left of it. Cilantro is a very, very, very strong herb, so I don't want a lot in it. Alright, so a little cilantro, and we're having a flavor party. Gizada baking nicely at 375.
Gavina says that's also pepper, chef.
We love pepper. So remember, whenever you're cooking with pepper, you add the amount that you like. You don't want to overcook your beef, guys. So as I said, this is a very tender cut, so it's not going to take long. Let me give it a taste. It's soft. I'm going to add peppers and the onions in and let that cook together. Oh, I want to add some parsley to this. Can I have a cover for this pot? I'm going to add some parsley to freshen it up. And then dinner is served. We want to give the pepper, we want to let the pepper cook a little bit in here so that it can start releasing the pepper flavor onto the beef. So I'm gonna cover it.
Gavina says I love pepper also, but sometimes I have to omit it because my family don't.
Oh, I understand. The good thing is pepper can always be added.
Pat Paris, Scotch bonnet is welcome at our meat party.
That's true, Pat. Scotch bonnet always have a VIP role at all of my meal parties.
Mr. Alves says thank you, chef and family.
Alright, so I have some parsley. I'm just gonna chop it up and add it to our finish it. Remember I said all the flavors of the salsa is going to go into this beef tonight. So parsley is a fresh herb, and you want to add the fresh herbs close to the end. Alright, so let's go back at center stage. So now tomatoes goes in. Alright, these tomatoes, we cut them, give it a little stir around. I have some cooked salsa. I'm gonna add that in. Just let it warm up. Give it a stir. I mean, you don't want it to look like a stew beef because that's not what it is. You just want it to have just enough sauce to hold everything together. And then finally, we add some of our corn in. So we're gonna cover it, give it 2 more minutes so that the sauce and the meat can combine. And then it's time to serve. Let's put these on this side. Trying to grab a spoon. Gonna take our tamale over. Wait till you go and get the white platters from that cupboard, please. Service time, service time. Alright. Parsley goes in. Lots of it. And we turn our stove off because we're done. And we give it a stir. And it's time to put this over our tamale. Alright, so service time now, guys. I'm gonna push this out the way, set up for service. So I'm bringing the tamales across.
Lisa says, think I want to come for dinner one of these days.
I think so. I think so too. Alright, so we take this up, put it on the bench. We're setting up for service. So we have a platter. Just kind of center everything so you guys can see. Give my towel a wash. We just check on our gizadas. Gizadas are almost ready.
Our time for Instagram.
Has passed.
Yes, it's
That's
1 hour and 30 minutes.
That's fine.
Should I end it?
No. Alright guys, so if you're still on, share the live because our window for saving it has passed. So save it so that we can go back and find it, please.
I could try and see. I could try and see.
You could try.
And see.
Alright, so we're going to try and save the live and then we're going to come right back. So come back with us if you can. I'll wait on you to show you what we're doing. We didn't get to save it?
No.
Alright, so we're back.
Yes.
So for present, welcome back guys. We're going to put a piece of banana leaf right down the middle of our plate. And then we're going to unwrap our beautiful tamales. This is a plantain. See how yellow that is?
Lisa says I'm back.
Welcome back, Lisa. We're unwrapping the tamales now, guys. So that one is plantain, and this one is a breadfruit.
Smith says hi from New Zealand.
Hi, Smith. Alright, let me just cut a piece of this one off. This is the breadfruit.
Lisa says they look awesome.
Thank you. Here you go.
Smells delicious.
It's so good, Lisa.
We have another Lisa from New York.
Hey, Lisa from New York. Okay, so I'm trying to fit 4 on this platter. So fingers crossed. So you see what the foil does? It protects the tamales during the cooking process.
Claudette Williams, good job.
Thank you. This is also a plantain. And then, so my guess was right. So we have breadfruit plantain, and I'm hoping this one is, my husband is saying plantain. This one is, as tasted, breadfruit.
Lisa, Gavin's mom.
Hey Lisa, how is my Gavin doing?
Kieran Hardy, can I have one?
Sure. Alright, so now I need a serving tongue. Just kind of space them a little bit, and now we're going to serve our meat on top. Right, Rashida?
Yes.
Serving tongue.
In the bucket.
Serving tongue away. Okay, so this is how we serve our tamales.
Lisa says Gavin's doing well.
Oh, I'm so glad to know that. And of course, so we serve it platter style, or we can serve it as an individual portion. So I'm going to do 2 platings, show you guys. How are those gizadas? Coming along nicely. Okay guys, so here goes. We put the meat on top, like so. Usually the tamale is served in the package and you help yourself. So I'm serving one family style because, you know, in this house we eat as a family, and then I'm going to serve up an individual portion. Alright, and then on top of this we put some corn just for texture. Okay, then we clean the plate. So this is one, and then this is how we would serve it individually. Wait, can you grab a parsley from the fridge? So to serve it individually, you gently unwrap the package just like this, and you keep the package on. All right, if it is a little messy, you can clean it. So we're just gonna clean it up a little bit just to make a nicer presentation. All right,
Gavina says looking lovely.
and we kind of center it, and so the banana leaf becomes part of the presentation. All right, so I'm serving my tamales. Mostly the tamales are stuffed, meaning that the meat is served on the inside of the tamale. But tonight I deconstruct it and I'm serving my meat on the outside of my tamale. And then my final garnish, just some roast corn, because I love the flavor of roast corn, and a little bit of parsley.
Kedira says the one is mine, right? That one is mine, right?
Yes, baby, this
No.
one is yours. Mr. Barrett says no, so I guess it's not yours. Okay, so here goes. So we have our family style and we have our individual portion.
Big Sis says just joined, thought it was blue jaws.
Yes, so in Jamaica we refer to it as blue jaws, usually in a
Cheryl
dessert.
Jenkins, delicious, excellent job.
In a dessert setting, but In other parts of the world, the same dish has many different names. And so this inspiration is from the Mexican tamales.
Cheryl Jenkins, delicious, excellent job.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Tamika McCarthy, looking mighty tasty.
Thank you, Tamika. And now we are going to remove our first set of gizadas. And put our second set in.
Gavina says, Chef, you're so creative.
Thank you.
Kedira says, lol, I heard uncle. Lisa says, awesome sauce, I like.
Alright guys, so just want to show you, so this is family style, this is restaurant quality style, so any ingredients can be used in a fancy setting. It just has to do with the imagination of the chef. So this is breadfruit, guys. So this is breadfruit tamale with beef and peppers and some roast corn. Everything is tasty and functional. And for our sweet tooth, we have our gizadas. These are what our gizadas are looking like. They look mighty tasty. So here ended our dinner. Let me set it up so you guys can.
Claudette Williams, interesting concept.
Thank you, Claudette. All right, Ashelia, hold the setup along.
Put the gizada in the middle.
All right, guys, so this is the dinner. Thank you for stopping in. The tamales, they're very simple to make. I did the plantain and the breadfruit. So if you're not a breadfruit lover, you can do the plantain. This can be made with green plantain as well. Think about it like our blue draws. It is basically the same concept. You put whatever flavor you want. This one is naturally savory. Plantain is naturally sweet. It's very simple. It's very delicious. I do hope you enjoy this. I hope you found this tutorial informative. And guess what, guys? If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, Nextinfood, I want you to go over there and subscribe. Turn your notification on. Watch the videos. Share the videos with a colleague, with a friend. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I don't know where I'll be cooking from next week. Maybe I do the paella and the tiramisu. Who knows? Come back next week, God's willing, and I'll share with you another dinner from around the world. I don't know what country I'll be inspired from, but either ways, it is going to be absolutely delicious. So if you want this gizada recipe, it is already on our YouTube channel. We put this up from last year, so there's a great gizada tutorial. So you learn how to make the short crust pastry. That is done in the plantain tart tutorial, and then the gizada is in the gizada tutorial. So guys, I'll see ya. Share before you get off, and you have a blessed week. Take care.
Smith says, I love watching you cook. You are very creative.
Thank you, Smith.